that we have gone through your assessments, just remember what we talked about in our sessions will be confidential between us. I understand that your initial concern for you coming in here today was to get down to a desired weight. And at this time, I would like to focus on a couple of things that I found interesting as a result from the assessments and your questionnaire. Now, with the nutrition focused physical examination that we performed, I noticed that you had these bumps on the back of your arm.
Oh,
Yeah?
yes.
How long have you had those?
I had them since, well, since I can remember, since like birth, I guess I would say. Probably started when I was like 13.
Okay, 13. And has that ever been an issue for you?
Not really. I've gone to a dermatologist before, and they said it will go away through age.
Through age? And how long ago was that?
Oh, that was old. That was when I was like 15 years old.
15?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been a while now, right?
Yeah, it has been.
So that actually is a sign of vitamin A deficiency, and that can actually be supplied from vegetables and different sources of protein. And so, looking through your food journal, I found that you have been reaching your protein intake. Now, 3 days doesn't give me the full picture of what you normally eat on a routine basis, but vitamin A can actually come from other, besides vegetables, it could come from fish as well. So I'm not sure how often you do eat seafood in your diet, but that would be a good area to begin with, and maybe hopefully through that change of your diet, we can see some benefit with that.
Mm.
Um, because symptoms that result are not due to one area of focus. Oftentimes, it's an accumulation of factors where that come together, and that's how it presents in itself the physical symptoms that we see. Um, are there any rashes that you might get anywhere else on your body?
Mostly on my arms is the only place I really
Mm-hmm.
have noticed a rash. Also, I guess in the belt area, I've recently got a rash there.
In the belt, where you have your belt, right
Yeah.
here in your midsection. Okay. And does that rash look red? Does it itch?
It itches. It doesn't look like the ones on my arms at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I've gone to a doctor to check out with them, and they said I guess I might have an allergy to nickel.
Nipple?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, well, at least maybe sometimes with some rashes, if they tend to come and go, they can also be a result of essential fatty acid deficiency. And, again, looking through your journal, it gave me some information to see that you were definitely reaching your fat content, needed for you. However, you were missing, or at least your essential fatty acids needs were not being met. And so that's another area of focus that we can both work together in, using nutrition counseling and education, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so using the questionnaire that you filled out, you mentioned that you tend to gain weight in the belly area.
Yeah.
And with the body composition analysis, when I took the measurement of your waist and your hips, it was good to see that your waist circumference is actually not, at risk. It didn't show that you were at risk for any, you know, diseases, showing that you didn't have so much fat accumulated in that area. And so
Okay.
that's a good sign. Um, now, how does that make you feel?
That makes me feel excellent. Actually, that
Yeah?
makes me feel actually really good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, a little bit more confident
Yeah.
in that? Okay. And so another topic that I found that could be addressed from your desire to lose weight is the energy lows that you were experiencing. That you say you tend to experience later on in the day, and that you also need caffeine in the morning to kind of get yourself going, right?
Yeah.
And you also said there on your questionnaire that you tend to have cravings, and is that usually cravings for sweets?
Yeah, mostly craving for sweets.
Yeah, do you know at what times of the day they tend to be stronger at?
More towards like the end of the day.
End of the day?
Yeah,
Um,
I would say like around like 5 or 6 o'clock.
5 or 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay. And that always tends to happen frequently on a consistent
Yeah.
basis, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Um, and I believe that those issues with the energy and the craving in itself can also be addressed using nutrition therapy, and just modifying your diet a little bit there. Um, Now, were there any questions that came up for you when you were completing the questionnaire that you think could be addressed, or that you want to be addressing in our sessions together?
Um, I guess like one of the things is I don't want to get like too skinny, I guess, in a way, right? I do want to reach my goal of 185 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of also want to gain muscle at the same
At the same
time.
time.
Yeah,
So you definitely don't now want to lose the muscle you have right now,
exactly.
right? Okay. Um, with your busy schedule, are you able to exercise?
Not as much as I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being like honest right there, I'd definitely like to go out more.
Okay. Alright. But you are definitely active, so you're moving, and that actually takes into account, keeping some fat off, and also at the same time, hopefully keep the muscles because you have to keeping your muscles because you lift those heavy animals, right, in
Mm-hmm.
the work.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so how does the information that I just went through, from your dietary assessment, the questionnaire, and your body composition analysis we did today, how's that make you feel? Do you feel
Well, the news
appreciated?
about like the waist right there made me feel good right there.
Yeah?
Kind of gave me a little smile right there, actually realizing that I wasn't overweight. That's exciting. Knowing about the sugar right there, my hours, I want to know how I'll be able to, I guess, accumulate my diet
Mhm.
so I don't start feeling that way or the necessity on that. That'll be
Mhm.
just something I'll be looking forward to working with.
Okay. Good. So I'm glad to hear that. Right now, I'm just going to pretty much sum up what we have done today in our session.
Okay.
So we had talked about addressing the goal of getting down to 185, losing a little bit of weight, and you said without losing a lot of your muscle or losing, looking too thin,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, Now, you wanted to learn how to do that, in terms of diet education so you can incorporate it into your busy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Through the physical examination and the body composition analysis, we saw some skin rashes, we saw the skin bumps. You mentioned that you tend to have some underneath your belt, and we discussed um, the fact that you tend to experience those energy lows and highs, and your cravings that you tend to get often. And we said that, I let you know that all of this could pretty much benefit from just modifying your diet. And which is what you had come in for him
Mm-hmm.
today, right? So on a scale of 1 through 10, how confident would you say you are ready to make these changes?
I would say I'm at 10, actually. I'm ready to do it.
You ready to do
Yep.
it? Okay.
Ready to be committed to it.
All right. And so, I just want you to know that, the rest of our sessions, we're going to be working together as a team. So, your confidence now is, you're going to have a really strong foundation. Um, Now, what would be the one, I find that, at least for me, I think the biggest focus we can begin with is your diet.
Mm.
Do you think that is probably the best area to begin tackling your
Definitely.
goal?
Yeah, I definitely agree. That would be the best area to tackle.
Okay. All right. Good. And so we're going to use the nutrition assessments, and the goals. We would like to focus on those, in the future appointments. It's going to be sort of tailored out to what we did today. So, along the way, because your goal is to lose weight, in order to make sure we're seeing tangible results, we're going to keep up with the assessments, the physical examinations, and why don't, like we said, we'll begin the rest of the session just by diet and education. Okay?
All right. Sounds good to me.